Bloom Taxonomy. The purpose of education and the school is to change the thoughts, feeling, and action of student. So, change the thought in brain, feeling in heart, and action in hand. In this lecture, you will learn about the action verb that are used in Bloom taxonomy. So, as you know, there are 6 levels. The first level is remember. So, remember, recall fact and basic concept. The verb we use for recall fact and basic concept are define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, and state. And next level is understand. Understand, explain ideas and concept. For explaining ideas and concept, we use verb classify, describe, discuss, explain, identity, locate, recognize, report, select, and translate. And third level is apply. So apply, use information in a new situation. For this, we use verb execute, implement, solve, use, demonstrate, interrupt, operate, schedule, and sketch. And for fourth level, we draw connection among ideas. So far, drawing the connection among ideas, we use the verb differentiate, organize, relate, compare, contrast, distinguish, examine. And fifth level, evaluate, justify a stand or decision, appraise, argue, defend, judge, select, support, evaluate, critique, and weigh. And for the last and sixth, create. Create means produce new work or original work. So for producing new or original work, we use design, assemble, construct, conjecture, develop, formulate, author, and investigate. So now you will learn in detail about the verb mostly we use in these 6 levels. First, remembering. So remembering is a noun. It means information and skill acquired through experience or action. So mostly the verbs that are used in this level are arrange, define, describe, list, and make. Now you will learn one by one about these verbs in detail. So, arrange, put in a particular order. So, you have to put all the things in a particular order. Its example are arrange these policies from most to least popular. Put these even in order of when they happen. What order do these elements of a court case go in? Arrange the card into the correct order. Sort the voting reform act historically. Next verb is define. So define, state or describe the exact nature and scope of word. Give the meaning of word or phrase. So we have to give the meaning and a word and phrase in case of define. Its example are write a definition of civil law. Such kind of questions are mostly asked in exam. How would you define justice? What is meaning of responsibility? Where do we limit the government power? Next word, describe. So describe, give a detailed account in word of. Describe the working of local government. Describe the process of formal debate. How would you describe prestige? Give a detailed written account of the school council. So, describe means I just cannot find the words to describe you. So, for describe means give a detailed account in word. Next, list. Make a list of. List every MP in the House of Commons. Draw a list of issues most important to you in daily life. You make a shopping list like a milk, apple, egg, toilet roll, banana, bread, etc. Match. Correspond or cause to correspond. Mostly this verb we use for an exercise for matching the different thing. Match. Match the word with the definition. Match the politician to the party. Can you match the cause with the effect? Group the word in a corresponding pair. Which picture correspond to one and other? Next, memorize. Memorize means learn by heart. Memorize the history of Britain. So, you have memorized in your brain. Can you remember these 4 pictures when I cover them up? Memorize these behavior rule by rote. Name. Give a name. Identity. Mention the name. Specify. Need 3 LED. My name is all. Can you name all these components of democracy? What name would you give to the course promoting activity? Identify the part of the diagram. Next is order. An order, give an order, arrange mathematically. Place these factors in the order of importance. How would you order these concepts? Can you put these events in chronological order? Quote. Quote means repeat or copy a passage or mark by other. Repeat a passage or mark, and sometimes we write everything in the same word, that is called quote. Good. So, what phrase would you quote from Barack Obama's speech? Can you repeat what the Prime Minister has just said? So, quote with the confidence. Recognize. Identify as already known. Known again. What word do you recognize from last lesson? What allow you to recognize them? Recall. Remember. Recall knowledge from memory. Have recollection. For total recall. How can you tell us what you did last lesson? So you have to recall. For answering of this question, where did we say power lie in the politics? So you have to recall the ideas here. Next, repeat. Say or do it again. Watch what I do, copy it. Listen to what I say, then repeat it. What did we just hear? Reproduce. Reproduce a copy or representation. Recreate in different medium or context. Reproduce the model in a simple term. Can you draw exactly what I have said? Restate. To state again, to state differently, to rephrase. Take what student A has. Next is retain. Continue to have key possessions of. Go over this until it sticks in your mind forever. How would you ensure you're remembering this? So use the mnemonic to retain the information. The second level is understanding. Understand, recall, recognition of specific information. So here, understanding. Understand the action of understanding, the ability to understand. Mostly we use the verb characterize, classify, complete, describe, discuss, establish, explain, express, identify, illustrate, recognize, report, relate, sort, and translate. And it has come in your mind, most of the verb in our question we use from the understanding. So, characterize, characterize, describe the distinct character of. What are the features of democracy? What makes something fair? Can you characterize Britishness? Classify, to identify by or divide into classes. To categorize, sort the card according to the categories. Identify which features are those of autocracy. Decide on categorize, then classify the group accordingly. How would you classify this? So we classify sometimes with respect to color or categories. Complete, finish, making or doing as a verb. Complete the word fill, finish the story. How would you finish this speech? What does this diagram need to be complete? Next, describe. This word is very popular and mostly we write in our question. So, describe means give a detailed account in word of. Describe the chain of events leading to the G20 protesters. Can you describe the change? So, describe citizen for your ear and audience. Discuss. Talk about so as to reach a decision. Talk or write about in detail. Discuss the picture and pair. Can there ever be zero crime? Discuss. Make a play showing parliamentary discussion. Discuss your ranking of the card until you reach a consensus. Discuss in 3 the key point we need for successful learning. Establish. Sure to be true or is certain by determining the fact. Let us establish what we already know about this topic. Can you establish what your partner know about this? How might we establish the truth in this case? Explain. Make clear by giving a detailed description or give a reason or justification. So we use the explain in example like, how can you show the difference between this and that? Explain why you think that. What explanation could there be for the picture? Express. Convey a thought or feeling in word or by gesture or conduct. Show your partner how that make you feel. Write a paragraph expressing your opinion on the death penalty. How does the film make you feel? What does the image make you think? Identify. Establish the identity. Recognize or select by analysis. Identify the word linked to politics. What criteria would you give year 8 to help them identify the fact. Illustrate. Make clear by using example chart. How can we illustrate this point? Illustrate these ideas using physical theater. So, in illustration, use example, chart, graph to make information clear. Recognize. Identify as already known. Circle what you already know. Identify the element we covered last lesson. What bit you recognize? Report. To give a spoken or written account of something, convey information about event or situation, read the article and then report back to your group. Can you report what you did for homework? Tell us what you did for your project. Produce a new report about human rights abuses. Relate. Give an account of what, when, where, who, and why. How did you get on? Can you tell us how your group worked together? Relate your partner, your experience in the last 2 days. Sort. Arrange systematically in group of separate from mix up. Complete the card sort. Sort the cause from the symptom. Sort the idea into group. Translate. Express the sense of word or text in other language. Be converted into other form of media. Translate the concept into piece of drama. Play Pictionary of your group. Make a list of all you learned. So, third category is applying. Apply. The action of applying practically are use of relevancy. The most verb we use are apply are bring into operation or use. Apply your learning to this problem. Use what we have done today to negotiate a controversial issue. How would you apply that idea to this instance? Can you use your learning to answer these questions? Next, calculate. Determine mathematically what percentage of people vote for the Green Party. Calculate the number of protesters in the crowd. Can you calculate the trend rate of growth in the economy? Choose. Choose is a verb that you pick out as being the best of two or more alternate. Decide on a course of action. Which option would be the best for the judge to take? Choose the most appropriate sentence for the crime. What course would you take? How will you approach the project in? Demonstrate. Clearly show that something exists or is true. Give a practical exhibition and explanation of. Demonstrate that gravity is a constant. How would you demonstrate to the class that you are right? Dramatize. Present a play. Dramatize the flow of wealth through the economy. Use drama to show sustainable development work. Imply. Make use of. Can you apply that same reason on different problems? Use the formula to answer the question. How would you apply your rule in unusual situation? What prior knowledge and skill do you think we will imply in today's lesson? Implement. Put into effect. Implement the change to your plan. How would you implement these ideas? What would you have to do to put these change into effect? Can you rewrite your essay with these changes? Interpret. Explain the meaning of. Understand of having a particular meaning or significance. Perform in a way that convey one understanding of greater. Show your understanding of story by interpreting it creatively. How would you interpret change or continuity to align? Operate. Control the functioning with reference to organize and manage. Show me how you operate the drill. How do you operate the drill? These are the example of operate. Perform. Carry out, accomplish, or fulfill action, task, or function. Perform overhead kick from the edge of the areas. Perform one of the piece of already based on the success criteria. Can you carry out cross-examination? Practice. Perform activity or exercise a skill repeatedly in order to proficient it. Carry out a perform activity habitually or regularly. Practice that until you can do it. Read a newspaper every day until it is a habit. Role play. The action out a particular role. Use the character card to hard seat in your group. Write protest letter in the character. Sketch. Make a sketch. Give a brief account of journal outline. How would you sketch the main feature of criminal justice system? Make a sketch of how the economy works. Solve. Find the answer to explanation a way of doing. Here is a problem. You have 30 minutes to find the solution within the parameter I have set you. How would you have solved the problem of hyperinflammation in Weimar, Germany? Suggest. Put forward for consideration. Suggest alternate way of electing MPA. Put forward some idea in your group. What idea would you have for changing the school? Next is analyze. Analyze is a noun. A detailed examination of the element or structure of something. The separation of something into its constituent. So mostly we use the verb analyze, appraise, categorize, compare, contrast, differentiate, discriminate, distinction, examine, and experiment, explore, investigate, question, research, and test. Analyze. Examine in detail the element or structure. What criteria used to determine story position in newspaper? How is political power distributed in England? Examine in detail the structure of UDHR. Appraise. Assess the quality or nature of. Assess the quality of your work in the light of your success criteria. What assessment would you make of speaker argument? Categorize. Place in a particular category or classify. Read the code, then classify them based on the electrical device they use. Categorize the MPA voting record of the count. Compare. Often compare to estimate, measure, note the similarity, dissimilarity between compare direct and representative democracy. How do these two images compare? Contrast. Compare so as to emphasize difference. So in contrast, you have only tell the difference. Can you highlight the difference between autocracy and democracy? Compare and contrast the perception of manager and his employer. Differentiate. Recognize, identifies as a different, distinguish. Can you differentiate between fact and opinion in the article? What criteria do you need to differentiate these mentioned? Discriminate. Recognize a distinction. Explain to us why there is a distinction between right and wrong. Which of these is an example of civil law? Distinguish, recognize, show, or treat as a different. Make to discern. What distinguish liberal democracy? What difference can you distinguish between these two pieces of work? Examine. Inspect closely to determine the nature and condition of proficiency. Test the knowledge of proficiency. Examine the video bearing in mind that criteria we have devised. Examine the different media to determine their relevancy to their task. Experiment. Perform a scientific experiment. Try out new things. Design experiment to answer the question. What experiment will tell us if CO2 emissions are rising? Explore. Travel through unfamiliar area in order to learn about. Inquire into, discuss in detail. Evaluate. Examine or scrutinize. Use this time to explore the material prior to discuss it. Can you explore your answer further? Investigate. Carry out systematic or formal inquiry into incident or allegation so as to establish the truth. Carry out research into. Make a search or systematic inquiry. Investigate the legitimacy of Daily Telegraph claim. Question. Ask question. Express doubt about object. Listen to your partner argument and then produce a list of questions to ask. Why do we live in a democracy? Research. Carry out research into. Use search to discover. What research do you need to do in order to support your assertion? How can we verify if what politicians say is true or not? Test. Subject to a test. Use verbal reason to test your hypothesis. Would the theory of trickle-down effect stand up investigation? And the fifth category is evaluating. Evaluate noun, appraisal or judgment of value of something. So we use the verb appraise, argue, assess, critique, defend, evaluate, examine, grade, inspect, judge, justify, rank, rate, review, and value. Appraise, assess the quality or nature. How useful this course too? Would you advise me to teach this activity again? Is this good under what measure of value? Argue, give a reason or cite evidence in support of something. How can you give us an argument against that? What you can give support? Assess, evaluate and estimate. What is legal order of newspaper are revealing their sources? Mark your work and set a target for improvement. What changes are there for the Quito Agreement proven a success? Critique, evaluate in detail and analytical way. Critique the speech in context of manifesto. Can you offer us a critique of the film? Write essay critique, attitude toward failure. Defend, attempt to justify. Defend your position. Imagine there is no UDHR human right. How would you defend your right to freedom of speech and education? Evaluate. Form an idea of amount or value of assess. How useful is the source? What change would you make to improve the white paper? Examine. Inspect closely to determine the nature and condition. Grade. Arrange in allocate grade. Use the bar scheme to grade your work. Inspect. Look too closely. What is really being said in this speech between the lines? What key theme run through the UDHR? Judge. Form an opinion about. Prepare a list of criteria on which we should judge the presentation, indicate priority and rating. Judge the value upon the British public. Justify, prove to be right or reason. Can you defend your position on capital punishment? Use evidence to justify your argument. Rank. Give someone something a rank within a grading system. Rank the argument in order of efficacy. Rank the picture according to the level of bias. Rate. Assign a standard, evaluate according to particle scale. Produce a scale which would be used to rate the effectiveness of council policy. How would you rate your performance in assessment? Review. Carry out or write a review or inspect again. Produce a literature review. Provide a synopsis of the book. Value. Fix, determine the value or assign. Can you determine the value of criminal behavior? And sixth and last is the create, the combination of components to form a connecting whole. So, verb we must use combine, compose, construct, create, devise, design, formulate, hypothesis, integrate, and merge, organize, plan, propose, synthesize, and unite. Combine, join, or mix together to do again simultaneously. Combine three of the ideas we have come up with into an argument. Compose, create a work of art, especially music or poetry. Arrange in orderly or artistic way. Compose a song and with equal pay for under 18. Construct, build or erect, form from various conceptual elements. Take what we have talked about and build a theory of justice from it. Can you theorize the class struggle for these resources? Create, bring into existence. Create a constitution for Britain. Can you create something from nothing? Create a new design for House of Parliament. Devise, plan or invent. Devise a way to stop crime. Invent a solution to global warming. What solution can you devise? Design, conceive or produce a design, plan or tend for purpose. Design a roadmap for peace. What would an alternate regulatory authority for the media to look like? Formulate, create or prepare methodically. Express an idea in concise and systematic way. Formulate an argument in support of a proportional representation. Develop your work until you can express it systematically. Hypothesis. Put forward as a hypothesis. Can you explain the MPA expenses scandal? Write a play showcase possible explanation of media. Next one, integrate. Combine or be combined to form a whole. How would you integrate fair trade with the desire to make money? Can you integrate effective social policy and the free market? Merge, combine or combine into a whole. Blend gradually into something else. Write a speech merging these perspectives. Organize, arrange systematically or order. Organize your thought into a clear picture. How would you organize a Middle East peace negotiation? Plan, decide on and arrange in advance. Plan the next stage of your coursework. Draw a plan of how will you set experiment up. Can you explain answer to the question you expect the opposing team? Propose, put forward for